Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're having a great day today. I am going to be doing a 12 by 12 layout. I am playing with some of the mixed media by Mr. Matt, the digital art pieces by Mr. Matt's Mixed Media. Um, and I am going to be doing two 12 by 12 layouts actually. So I want you to consider if you were doing a scrapbook, you could this would be a 12 by 12 layout. I've done them on canvases because it's actually going to be a Christmas slash housewarming gift for a friend. But the process and the uh, gist of it is going to be the same. Okay. So essentially you would have your two pieces of paper, your 12 by 12 layouts. So again, this is digital art. So you purchase the package and then it's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. I had mine printed off at our local printer. It came in on a 13 by 17 sheet, and then I just trimmed it down to 12 by 12. And then yeah, and it cost me about $1. So yeah, yeah, so very reasonable. I could do whatever I want. What I did, because I didn't have any ephemera or anything to go with it, I had two copies of each of these sheets printed up, because what I wanted to do was to cut out some of these shapes and make my own ephemera, such as, let me see if I can find the right one, this. Okay. So you can see here it's glossy and I've added some texture and some glitter to it. But this is essentially this piece that was right here. So I just have to find the right fit. That looks like the right fit right about there. So there's that one. And then let me see, that's not the right, that's from the other page here. But what else have we got? There's this one here. Okay, and then let's see. And then this one. Okay, so I'll be able to pop these up into differing levels as I put in my pictures, etc. So this is what I wanted to do, because I didn't have any ephemera that goes with it, and I didn't think about that. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I just buy the paper and I don't think about actually what I'm going to do on top of it or what else I'm going to make. So this is, for example, on this one piece. Let me show you on the other piece. So when I picked two pieces that are going to go together, so I can do ephemera down in this corner here, and then some stuff up here too, and then can piece in my photos. So I wanted some blank space here and a little bit here so that I could put in a title, put in my photos, etc., etc. So here is this piece here, and let me see here. I'm pretty sure that is that one there. And then there's this funky dunky one here, like that. Yeah. Yeah, like that. And then I'm pretty sure that one is that one. And this one turned out really cool. And it goes, pretty sure that little black mark is right there. Like that, I think. Something to that extent. And then I have a bunch of little ones as well. See, like this guy here. So you can see how, well, I don't know if you can see, but they're kind of, yeah, they're going to pop off. So I can do them in differing levels. So I'm going to put those aside and I'm going to show you how I made these, because that's basically the main part here, right? Okay, so I'm just going to put these to the side and move it out of my way. Okay, so essentially what I did is I cut out the pieces that I was looking at to a certain small-ish area, and then I glued them onto cardstock. So this is a thick black cardstock. It's probably 100 pound, I would say. And then I also did onto white, I think it was 110 pound cardstock, and then 65 pound cardstock, so that it would have differing levels of thickness. And then I just came in with my fussy cut scissors. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen fussy cutting before, but essentially what I did is I just got as close to the edge of the image as I could. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you cut it off or whatever. So when I was gluing these down, I just used my regular adhesive, my liquid glue, uh, glued it down. But what I did make an effort to make sure is that I got all the way right to the edge because I didn't want any of these edges to be lifting, right? Um, so then I'm going to come in here and come down the edge here. And actually, I did this last night while I was watching TV. I cut all these out and I just got onto a roll and it was actually a bit of a problem because I almost forgot to leave some to demo for the video. I was like, oh cow. So yeah, I only had these two left. I was, oh dear. Okay. So yeah, it was pretty mindless. Something it's a good thing to be doing while you're watching TV and not really totally engaged in anything. You can just be focusing on this and listening or something like that. Kind of like coloring. But essentially all I'm doing when you're fussy cutting, it's really important to move your image, not your scissors. You want to just continue to have as long of a line as possible and rotate the image, not your scissors. And that will get you a little closer to the image or to your edges, but also give you a nice smooth cut without as many jagged, I was going to say jagged jiggy jags, but that's So I think this video is going to go up on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. I'm not sure. So, and as I said, this is a gift. So I'm not going to be actually putting the photos on. I'll put the mats on, but not the photos because it's, privacy issues, et cetera, et cetera. So essentially, this is all I did. Okay, so it went from this to this. Okay, so that's step one. So I'm going to put this to the side here. Now, step two that you're going to need is some embossing powder. There's a variety out there. I have the one that I really recommend, particularly for this kind of thing, because it makes it look like you're making your own sticker or your own plastic, right? That's what gives it such high gloss and high shine, is the ultra thick embossing powder. Probably a lot of you might even have this in your stash because it's super, super, super thick. This is by Ranger. I got mine from Michael's years ago. I've had this for 10, 15 years and look at how much like I've not used very much of it. So that the other powders that I am using because I have them, I haven't used them in forever, are the Allure powders. And this is by, I want to say it was Cosmic Creek, which is a company, I think out of Calgary, Emerald Creek, Cosmic Creek, Emerald Creek. Anyway, it's been a very long time I've had these. This one is a charred gold. Nope, sorry. This one's oil rubbed. Nope, burnt copper. This one's charred gold. And I have some swatches here that I did on chipboard because that's what I used to do this mostly on. So this is what the burnt copper, when you melt it, ends up looking like. It gives this really cool hammered metal look. And then this is the charred gold. So it's got a little bit of gold, a little bit of black, a little bit of silver in it. Makes it look very metallic. So it's super fun that way. But if you don't have that and you're not doing like gears and stuff like that or whatever, you could have a copper, just a plain copper embossing powder. You probably have gold. If you've done any kind of Christmas stamping, you probably have gold. You might have silver. Maybe you've got white. Probably not white with this, but maybe you have other colors. Maybe you have a brown, black, anything to add some texture or whatever. Okay. So other thing that you're going to need, and there's a few options here, is you can use, now it's a little tricky to do this, but you can use your Versamark stamp pad. Okay, Versamark. So you need a sticky ink. I have been just smooshing using the embossing Dabber by Ranger. It's clear, transparent. You can use that. The other thing that I would recommend if you want something that's to get a little bit more fine detail is a Versamark pen. Again, this is just the same sticky ink from the pad in a pen form, so you can get slightly more detailed. Mine seems to be quite dry, so it doesn't always work. But I have also been using my Quickie glue pen. So anything that you can use that will dry tacky. Okay, so sometimes you can get the two-way glue pens. It's blue. Yeah, that it'll dry tacky unless you put paper to paper, which it'll dry permanent. But if you leave it exposed to the air and it dries, then it's tacky. that's what you need, because you need your embossing powder to stick to something, right? So let's demo what this looks like then. So I am going to pull over, going to use, it's because I think for copper, I'm going to use the charred gold. Okay. So I am going to utilize my Versamark here because I can catch the edges of this. And I'm going to drag my Versamark pad just along the teeth of this gear. Kind of like that. Okay. And I can sort of see the sheen. You probably won't be able to catch it on there, but I can see the sheen. And then I'm also going to take my Versamark pen and I'm just kind of going to add a few little touches in some of the fine areas here that my ink pad would not be conducive to, right? Okay, now I've got a little disposable paper plate here and a spoon that helps me to pull out some of the powder here. And I'm going to add that on top of my image. Then I'm going to use my tweezers and I'm going to pick it up and give it just a bit of a tap. Not a lot, because this is very chunky. So you can sort of see the granular area there. So because it's chunky, I don't want to shake it off too hard because it's got very, I don't know if you can see how thick some of these particles are. They're very, very thick. So if I give it a really good tap, a lot of those will be knocked off. So just to show you another option here, I'll pull out the dauber and I'm going to pull the dauber and on these edges, and I'm going to do squeegee. So the dauber is essentially, it's like if you've ever played bingo, it's like a bingo dauber just with clear ink in it. Ooh. Go. Lid back on. Now I can, if I want, just kind of scoop what's already on here. It's already on my plate, so to speak, without having to pour out, or I could just pour on top of this and add it back in. Either or would be fine. Okay, so again, I've got a little bit of a lip because I did get quite a decent amount of coverage there. I think I'm just going to let that be good on that one. And then let's add a little bit of gold onto this one. Now, if you're using the dauber and you're doing a more concentrated or a bigger area, like I was just catching the edges of that, you're going to want a scratch piece of paper or a junk piece of paper. So you can see here how heavily that gets coated. And yeah, then you just go to town smushing your adhesive in the places that you want. You can fully cover it or cover whatever you need to cover. Yeah, so now I'm going to pick that up. Ends of my tweezers got bent at a crop once. It makes it difficult to pick up things with them. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, is it going to catch the shine? Oh yeah, see there, it's shiny. That's the embossing ink, or yeah, the embossing ink, and or the sticky ink, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm going to add my embossing powder with a bit of a tip. Okay, so I have a pretty good stick coat there. Okay, now, so before I start blowing and getting my heat gun going, or my heat tool going, I'm going to pop that back in to the pot. So you can see I didn't use very much. And as I said, I've probably had these for whoosh, at least 10 years. At least 10 years. It's been a while. Been a while. Okay. So now I'm going to heat these up because I want to melt the embossing powder. So I'm going to bring over my silicone mats because for some of this, I will be releasing it from the tweezers and then just melting it like right on the mat. As I have said, this is because it's so chunky, this embossing powder, I am going to start heating it from the bottom, because if I take my heat tool right to the top of it right to start with, some of it will just, it'll just blow away some of the particles. For sure, with this stuff, you want to start heating from the bottom so that some of the plastic in the embossing powder will start to melt, and it gives it something to grab onto, because that the chunks or the heavier particles, they're heavy, so they don't stick as well into the embossing ink, and then they blow away because they're heavier than the fine stuff, which is what tends to adhere really well. Okay, so I'm just my heat tool is heating up, and I'm coming at this from the back. Start with, now I can turn over my heat tool, and I'm going to bring it in, and the same as any other embossing powder, you're going to watch it, and it's going to go from whatever color it is. So, you know, it looked kind of like a dull brown to now it's going shiny gold. You can see it starting to shift from that powder into the liquid state. Embossing powder, coolest thing still. One of the coolest things. All right. Okay. Pretty cool. So now that plastic, that's plastic. So it's hot. So I'm going to put that down there. I'm going to put that down for a little bit, let it dry or cool down so that I can move it and touch it. And again, I'm starting with this one from the bottom. And I'm already starting to see some of the edges heating up here. You can see I'm keeping my fingers out of the way of my tweezers. I didn't really want to burn myself today. Woo, getting toasty. If you don't have tweezers, or like mine are metal, sometimes you can use a wooden clothespin to hold your projects instead. Sometimes that's a great idea as well. Okay, so where are we going to grab this from here? Shoop. Whoop, shoop, shoop, shoop. Okay, let's. Go. All right. Okay, starting from the bottom again, so that those big chunks stay on my paper. Let's see if you can start to see it. Yeah, and you can see over here on this side, already starting to melt. These nice big chunks. Look at how fluid they become. It's a very cool effect. There we go. All right. Okay. This one I'm going to put down. This one. Look at how cool that now. So look at that texture. It's like kind of bumpy. It's got this really cool ridge line to it. It's really cool. Okay. That one's good. And very nice. This one you can see some of the silver, and I've just done the edges here. Okay. Let's try. You good? Yeah, and this one's cool. This one's got, you can still see some of the turquoise from behind it. So while I've got you here, I'm going to show you how to use the, in case you haven't utilized it before, I'm going to show you how to use the thick, the ultra thick embossing powder. So I am going to take my dauber, and so I'm going to do it on this one, and I'm squeezing out and just kind of rubbing and kind of burnishing the dauber. You can go in an up and down motion or squidgy, but kind of want to see where where is it shiny versus not. So you can see where you've put down your embossing powder, right? Okay, so this can go to the side here. I could have done the same thing with my Versamark pad and just kind of stamped it directly down. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take the thick powder, the ultra thick embossing powder, and I want to put a very good, decent coat on it. I'm going to pull in my tweezers, catch the edge, and do a bit of a shakedown on it. If you can see, so it almost looks like what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know, there's like a glass bead that you can put on top of like glitter, things like that. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this just by the edge here with my tweezers because I don't want to take too much off of that because well, it's plastic, so it will also then stick to my tweezers, which is not fun. But this is so thick that I want to make sure that again, I'm starting from the back side so that it has something to adhere to. I want that to start warming up. No, the light is going to catch light. There we go. That might be better. Okay, so now I'm just going to let it sit in place. I'm going to begin to watch the so you should start to see it almost looks like water, like a plastic, like it's coming together, melding. Sometimes you'll see that it's got some pock marks in it. Um, when that happens, if you're not happy, you don't want that, you can come in while it's still wet or still warm, shake on a little bit more, melt that, and that'll help fill that in. So you get a smoother finish or a more smooth finish. So I'm just pulling in my little spoon and some of the uh, over, I don't know, it's not a spray because it was shaken on, but some of the stuff that was sitting in my paper plate here, which is why I didn't dump it back in there like I normally do before I do the heating. There we go. One more spots there. Ooh. So this is also why I do this procedure on a silicone. This is a silicone trivet, but essentially, like I've gotten some of the granules down in here, but they're not melting because it doesn't get hot. It doesn't retain the heat. So then I can just turn it up over my garbage can and call it good. All right. Now, this is going to be very warm, hot plastic. So very similar to when you're using, like a glue gun or something like that, hot glue gun or something. So this is what was left. I'm gonna take that and put it back in the jar. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put all of the embossing stuff to the side because I think that I have more than enough for my for the layout. I think that I have more than enough. I want to have more than what I think that I'm going to need, but I don't know that I need any more than what I've already got. Okay, so let's see here. Can we get that over there? Okay, let us move this out of the way here. Get some room. Whoopsie. Okay. Now, I am not sure. So for you guys, because you'd be usually using like just regular cardstock, etc., your regular adhesive will probably be fine. I might be utilizing, because this is going to be artwork that's going to go on the wall, I might be utilizing my glue gun to adhere some of the ephemera, just to make sure that it stays. But look at how glossy that is. And you can still see the gold, the flecks of gold inside. So this is what the other one looks like without the shine on it, or the ultra thick. So we just have the gold on it with the plain cardstock here versus now it looks like it's a sticker, like a puffy sticker or something like that um, without having to pay for it kind of thing. Okay, now I have pre-cut my mats and stuck them down. So I've got photo and a mat. So I just basically chose some colors that I figured would go pretty decently with the paper that I had, like with the background. So I pulled out this really cool turquoise color or blue-ish color, which is actually just Michael's cardstock. And yeah, picked out. So I've got two 4x6 photos. I printed them off using my selfie. It's the first time I've used it. I'm pretty tickled. So essentially, I pre-matted. I've got two 4x6 photos. So I have the matted, so I have the large mat at probably, yeah, 4.5 by six and a half. It's actually a little bigger, but that's okay. 6.5. And then because I was doing, because of the gears, I thought it'd be really cool to have like one rough edge and then one kind of smooth rounded edge. So that's what I did with all of the cardstock and the photos, to match them. And then I have four that are 2 by 3 size photos. So the mats are 3.5 by 2.5. So I have four of those. And I basically just reversed it. So I have the blue with the kind of coppery bronze color, or the blue with the copper on top. Okay. And then I have two that are, so these would be 4 by 3 inch size photos. So the matting is 4.5 by 3.5. Okay. So hopefully that's clearer than mud. Alrighty, so let's get started. So this is going to be the first one that I'm going to use. So I want to find, this is the photo that I'm fairly certain goes that way. Let me just double check though. Where did I just stick the photos? Okay, there. So, what I really should have done is like this side up, especially because I don't want to have it visible on camera here because of, privacy, etc. Okay, yeah, so this photo goes this way. Okay, so that's going to be that one. Let's put that to the side there. And I'm gonna try and do one of these, and then probably two of these if I can. All right, so let's see how we're going to fit those on. Okay, so I have this is going to also be a fairly large photo. Let me make sure that this is an up and down one as well. Oh, me see here. It's not, so it's gonna have to go. You don't see this? You see nothing behind the curtain here. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, that one's gonna be that one. Okay, so this is going to go something like that. And then, so I've got these guys here. And these ones, I think these are all vertical. That's how they came out on the selfie, I'm fairly certain. Vertical, up, down, vertical, vertical. Okay, so yeah, so these all need to be essentially like this, something to that extent. Okay, so let's pull some of the ephemera that matches this sheet. So let's go here, 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 because I'm not sure which ones are which. Okay, so this is this one. This is feel like with the teeth. Yeah, that's that one right there. This is there. Hmm. Let's see here. Oops, whoop. Oh, stop scrolling. Yay. It's kind of like a puzzle. Would have been sensible if I'd have ooh, okay, so that one is right, yeah, right there. Ooh, kind of cut them apart, and I just did such a darn good job. This one might be, nope, this is this side. Oh, see, right there. Looking right at it. If it were I was gonna say if it were a snake, it could have written up and bit me, but I really don't want it to do that. I think that's that one there. Oh, I have that one here. Not that one. And okay, I had that one in the wrong spot. Oh, no, I didn't. Sure, that's that one. This is this one. Right there. This is really hilarious for somebody. I don't even really particularly like puzzles, and yet here I am putting together a puzzle. Okay, I think that thing is supposed to be, this one is over there. Sure. This is one of these little guys here, like that. Okie dokie. Now, is this, sure that's one of those big guys there. That is that color there. Is that one there? Maybe. Ah, this one is that big one there. That. This is this one, and this is that one. Okay. So this, yeah, okay. This is this. There we go. And this guy is here someplace. Okay, so now the decision becomes, how do I want to fit these in here? How do I want to adhere them down? How do I want to pull in and play with the photos, etc.? So for example, I know that this photo, this is a pretty big photo. So I want to make sure that it's going to have a fairly decent shot of having some overhang like this. Okay, so I'm going to match that one up. This one looks like it could be pretty cool. So we're going to keep these two. That's pretty good. If I can stick this down like this, I can actually just slide my photo. I think I'm almost out of shot here. Sorry, I can slide my photo right under there. See, like that. Okay. This one and this one. So let's do, okay, so this is the next biggest photo. So again, the bigger ones are the ones that you're going to want to put in first because they will be the most complicated to work around, right? All right, so that one means, so let's do, what if we did this? And we have anything for data. But if I did this, so could do over there. Oops, right there. This one is going to go. So this can slide under like so. Then we can pull, let's see how much of that photo. If I were to do this, I kind of want to do the copper over here. So I could do the copper almost like that. I think that could work. Get that over enough, like so. So what I would do is stick this one down, and I just, where did that one go? And then this one would go down. But what I would do is leave the lips for any place that the photo needs to come in at. Okay. Alrighty, then I think that's kind of nice, right? So it still gives us the really intensive colors and the fun over here, but we still have some pretty cool depth, dimension, texture. Don't know if you can see that. There we go. Yeah, okay, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. All right, now let's stick it down, right? Let's stick these parts down, the ones that pretty happy with. We'll stick those down. Let's see here. Now, do I want this to go? Because that's kind of cool. Yep, I do want that to go like that. Okay, so there's a piece under here, so I'm going to take this piece out. All right, but this one can stick down, this one can stick down. I want this to go like that. This is going to stick right flat to the board here. Okay, so I am going to do a combination of liquid adhesive here and a little bit of, like I said, of hot glue. Just because, again, I don't want to, I want to make sure that this doesn't fall off. Because again, I don't know, I'll be just giving it to him like this. If he chooses to frame it, cool. But might not want to, because then it's hard to capture the texture, right? If you've got it in a, especially behind glass. All right. So I'm going to put, so I've added adhesive to the edges here. Then I'm going to take my liquid glue, or sorry, my hot glue. And trying not to burn the heck out of myself. I want to match this up sort of to where it was. Close enough, anyways. Okay. And then I'm going to stick it down like so. I need to move this photo because this is going to be down first. Okay. There we go. Now, good. All right. That's me here. All right, now I can stick down this one, this bronzy one, because I know that these pieces are going to need to come up above it. So I want to do this one first. So again, come in with some liquid adhesive. So basically, when I was looking at this, Matt, and the reason why I'm doing a 12 by 12 layout is because, Matt was talking to me and he's like, yeah, so you look at my designs and it's very difficult. Some people are confused, like, what am I supposed to do with that? Or how do I make something like that work? And so that's why I'm coming up with projects and doing some of these things, right? Um, because it's a good question. This is complicated, or could be if you're not sure, right? What am I supposed to do with this? How do I make that work? What do I want it to look like? Okie dokie. What's that doing? Okay, that's pretty good, actually. Now, this particular piece, those pieces are going to go on top. So this one here, I'm also going to adhere it. So the good news is if you're looking at doing something like this with a 12 by 12 layout, like in a scrapbook, you don't have to worry about the heavy duty glue or those kind of things, because of course your scrapbook page would hold this together, right? Like you don't have to be as intense at making sure that this is going to stick, because your scrapbook paper will help it to adhere, right? So that's kind of a nice thing about that. Okay, there we go. All right, so this one, ooh, good. Okay, that actually is going to be able to lay flat there. So I don't need to do that. This one, okay. This is gonna go here, like so. So, okay, that is stuck down. So this one, okay, so what I want to do is I think I'm going to do some foam tape behind here on this one. And then this part I want laying flat because I want this piece of cardstock to be able to go on top of it. Do you see here? All right. Okay, so this one I'm going to just glue and adhere to the circle of where it's at there. So putting in some good liquid adhesive. And then again, a squidgy of hot glue. Okay. To burn yourself. Okay. We'll just hold that in place so that gives both the hot glue and my liquid adhesive a chance to grab on, right? Okay. Now, because I want this to sit on top of this, I am also going to glue that one down. Alrighty, so I want to budge this out of the way here for a second because I want to make sure that I'm getting a good adhesion here of this guy here. Now, the other thing that I could be doing is I could be popping this up, but again, I want this to sit on top of that. So I want some dimension, but I didn't want too much dimension, Just right. You can call me Goldilocks today. What can I say? And stick that down. There we go. 18. What's cool is that this part is bumping up right to that part. So that is very cool. So, and I don't know, if you haven't seen the video where I took the other artwork by Mr. Matt, it was like sunflowers and roses, and then zhuzhed it up. I stuck it onto a canvas. If you're wondering how I did that, go back and watch that video, because obviously I'm not showing you how I did that on this one, because you guys would likely not necessarily be doing this with that. You'd be doing a regular 12 by 12 layout kind of thing. But in case you do feel like you need to, oh my goodness, that is the coolest technique ever, then, go ahead. That's cool. That's why we're demoing. Okay, this guy needs to be stuck flat. That one. Alrighty. So coming in, I want to make sure that I'm catching the edges here, plus all of these little teeth. It's the nice thing about the glue press here, or the by My Sweet Petunia. It's very, very handy. Bit of the and this way. Oh, that feels dangerous. I'm looking at it backwards because I am. Oh, she toasty under the underside there. That liquid adhesive or the hot glue. I think it was in the middle of a story. Oh well. Pause for a thought break, and there you go. That's what happens. Okay, so this piece here is what was cut off after the tines here. So it kind of matches up to this area, is essentially where this is supposed to be fitting at. So because I think what I want is I want this piece to kind of sit on top. So this part is going to be flat, but see how this, I want this to be able to slide under. So I'm going to add some foam tape along this edge here. So bring out my foam tape. I didn't know I'd be using my foam tape today. And the one that I'm actually going to use, because it is so strong, it's actually a little bit too strong, but that's okay. That's what you want for this kind of thing. This is actually photo mounting tape that I get from the dollar store, and works like a darn, like a charm. Okay, so this is kind of the area that I want to have foam tape, and I want to have it popped up. Okay. So I'm not going to stick anything behind the teeth. I'm just going to work in this area here. I also want to make sure that ooh, might have gotten too close. I did get too close, too close, too close. Super duper. Let's see here. Let's do that. Higher up. Okay. So what I need to make sure is that you can see underneath here, my photo, like my mat, is going to come in to this point, right? So I want to make sure that my when I go to stick this back in here, that my adhesive, my tape is not going to um, get in the way of my when I go to stick this back in there, of my mat, and the photo when I go to put the photos on as well. So let's see here. I think, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And this edge is going to go down. So I think I need to have this part. I want to have a little bit of pop up still in this area to kind of provide a little bit of support underneath that. Okay. So let's go ahead and stick this down. Pull this on. Whoop. Missed a piece, missed the piece, missed the piece. Okay. So this might seem like I'm doing this very quickly, but the truth is that I've been pretty much working this out since thinking about this project and what would I do with these, with these papers, how would I create the ephemera, et cetera, right? So I've already been thinking about this for a while and kind of coming up with a plan. I don't typically scrapbook this fast. In fact, it's been couple of years since I've scrapbooked, actually. I've done some folios and stuff like that, but by and large, I think I said this on another video too. By and large, it has been a minute since I have actually scrapbooked. Oh, don't miss the edge there. Because the last one I actually started working on a self-made album, like one with flips, et cetera, from when he was, I don't know if he was born, but he would have been about a year. Well, he's 8 now. So that was the last time I did any like serious scrapbooking. Right. Okay, there. All right, now I'm going to turn this over front way or right side up so that I can start to see where I'm at. Okay, so pretty much all of that is now adhered, right? So we can, yeah, pretty happy with that. So that's good. So now I've got these two. So this one is going to go in here, kind of like that. That's cool. And might even have to go a little higher. I like that. That. Because I definitely want to be able to put this guy in here. So I need to have, this is going to have to be raised, but I need to do foam tape in kind of this uh, configuration, kind of almost like an L in that area there. So let's cut that. Right. Okay, so let's see here. So if I'm gonna, very difficult to measure when you've got stuff in your, um, oh, just a minute. You've got this in the wrong spot here, Kareem. It needs to go that way. That's where it's supposed to be. There we go. Okay, so my photo is going to come in here, like so. So photo is going to come in to there and up to here. Okay, so theoretically, so you can see underneath, right? So my photo should be able to slide right in underneath that. It's still supported, so that's good. I also need to do the same thing for this, oops, for this edge here. Okay. So I want that to be, okay, so the photo's going here. It needs to be on this side of that. So to give it a trim because that's too close to the edge. It will show behind the gears. That's not fun. Right. All right, so that will allow for that. So then, now what are we doing with, before we go and stick this down, let's make sure. So we have this one, then this one. So that's flat or flat-ish. So ideally, I would like this come to there. So what have I got behind there? Nothing. So I can stick another little couple of pieces here. It's pretty close. And okay, good. All right. So turned it all around again on myself. That's genius. Not. Okay, so I would like this to be right about there, like so. Okay, and then I think what I'm going to do with this particular one is I'm just going to glue this down So straight to the front, but I'm not gonna adhere down the teeth. So just this part here, and then I can kind of pop this in and out that way. So those can stick up a little bit. Okie dokie. So not those teeth. So everything but these teeth. All right. Liquid adhesive first. And I want to make sure that I'm getting really good coverage right to the corner. Come in with a little bit of hot glue. And the interesting thing about the hot glue is that I'm seeing in some areas here where it's almost popping it up a little bit too, which is kind of, not gonna lie, a little bit helpful in some of the areas. Helpful in some, not helpful in others. Go figure. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's make sure that adheres. A little bit of squidgy of glue there. That's all right. That's all right. Okay, now I'm going to stick this down. Before I glue this one down, and before I stick this down, this is the last piece other than any other little guys that I want to try and stick around, which is entirely possible. But I'm going to stick this down first, just to make sure that I have it in position of where I want it. Try not to touch it because hot, 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 hot. All right, I'm gonna slide that just down under, like so. All right. Oh, did that shift? No, okay, good. So theoretically, this should all hold, no problem. Stay tuned. I will let you know, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna stick this one down now. And it's kind of the area that I want to put that in. And then this will be the last one that I do. Too much. All right. Sorry, I'm not chatting too much, guys. I'm really just, trying not to burn myself because that's not always a great thing for me. All right, so because I want this to sit under here, like so, bring that in to there. I think that's pretty much where I wanted it. So, whoop. Oh, booger, come out of there, you. Shoot. And of course, because I've already stuck it down. Whoop. Oh, there we go. Good. Okay. Now. Anyway, yeah, sorry. I'm trying not to burn myself here. The always concerning when you're working with hot tools. Hot tools. Hot tools. All right. So this should be able to fit right there. And the way that I have done all of my the tape, it should allow for my photos to sit within, kind of to land in that space kind of thing. Oh yeah, I was telling you guys how come this is coming together so quickly. It's actually not quickly. I've been working on this ephemera now. This has been a 2-day project already. So it hasn't actually been, but oh, I actually want to put a little bit of adhesive on this. liquid. If you're ever not wanting to stick your foam tape down like right away and you want just a little bit of wiggle time, go ahead and use your liquid adhesive. It will give you that little bit of sh shifting time or lifting time, just like that. Okay. Now, I'm not going to show you the photos, but I'll show you how these would fit in, for example. So, for example, this one would just pop in there. This one would kind of fit place photo here, right? This is the, I need one of those stamps, place photo here kind of thing. And then, yeah, where did that other photo go? This one here. So, and then this would fit like that. Look at that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, now let's do the other one. And then we'll fiddle with the last of the little ephemeras here that I've made when I go to put the sentiment on, because I think, or the title. I want to leave some space for the title. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. So, but I'm going to put this to the side here. I'll take my photos off of it just so that I can utilize them in the next one, but this will work. So need to remember that the next one though is going to be up and down. Okay, so there we go. That's one of the pages. Okay, so here is the second page. So here we go again. So let's pull the ephemera off to start with. Well, we've got these bigger pieces, right? So let's keep the bigger pieces on, right? Because it's always easiest to put your bigger pieces down because you're going to have to work around them, right? So big piece, big piece, big piece, kind of like that, right? And then I have, okie dokie, so to the side, here we go, here we go, here we go. All right, so I have a vertical, okay, so nice big vertical, and then I've got a horizontal, and then I have two, say, two of the smaller photos, right? Something to that extent. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it now? These could be like, I can flatten this one so that this can stick on top, but then pop this up so that that can almost be slid underneath. Have this be flat. I don't mind that at all. Now, what happens if instead of that, we take the large photo and that goes over here instead? That's a possibility, actually. That's not bad, right? Like that. That's different. Okay, that. And then we have this, this, which would then leave me the room to do this is us, because that's what I'm doing as the title. Some of the title could even go onto these guys, but that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of funky. I could also do instead, this could also work as well. I could do this, this, that, that. Okay, I like the big picture over here for sure. Debating on this now. Okay. So I'm going to keep like that with that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of. Now, what if we end up doing this? And then this. That makes it look too blue on blue, right, guys? Actually, I think I could do this. That would leave me space for my title. This is us. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Okay. So first things first, this one I think I am going to adhere down, but I am going to leave this lifted so that that can slide kind of like that. So I'm going to pop this part up just here, and this is going to be straight down. Okay, so pop it up, pop it up, pop it up. All right, now is going to be this part. Oh. How's everybody coming along with their Christmas shopping? Are you finished? Have you finished wrapping? I was finishing my wrapping just the other day. It's so exciting. It's always nice to be done the wrapping. It's always one of those, oh, seriously? How did we get so much here? I mean, I don't want to complain about being abundant and it's a fun time of year, etc. Oh, let's focus, Karine. It's a fun time of year. It's just very busy. This yeah, this is a gift. I'm a little behind. I intended to have this done quite a while ago. So, other than the gifty things that I'm still making, um, there's which is still happening, obviously. Um, but pretty things are coming along. It's not as long as I typically like it to be, but it's coming along. So hopefully you are also coming along and finding time for what you need and are setting yourself up to be able to actually enjoy some of the holidays. It's a very stressful time for a lot of people. It's very stressful, very stressful. I'm also experiencing that, but I do like to come and craft and hang out with you guys and share and utilize some of my tools. As like I said, these things I haven't used them in probably 10 years, so it's kind of nice to pull out things that I haven't necessarily thought about. I do like to do that. Okay, so this is going to fit into there. This also will be fitting into there like that. Over a little bit though, kind of like that. So I can adhere this one straight down. Oh, maybe it's not going down that far. Because look, that's where it's supposed to be fitting. Okay, let's make sure that that's where it fits then. Now, did I decide? Okay, I don't want to glue down these teeth. Okay, maybe these edges. But I will not do any adhesive on these guys so that I can slide that under if I need to. So I'll just do adhesive here, and then the rest of it I want to stick straight down. Okay, so adhesive, adhesive. So let's do that while we're thinking about it. Adhesive, adhesive, and we'll leave the rest. Yeah, I can do some of the topper ones here. So share with me down in the comments. What do you guys do for the holidays? What are some of your traditions? We have for example, for me, Christmas Eve dinner happens at our house. My husband usually smokes the turkey. So we have this big meal for, I mean, there's only 8 of us. We're quite a small family, actually. So just for the 8 of us. And so that's my hubby, my parents, myself, my brother and sister-in-law, and then their kids, my niece and nephew. And so we have a big meal on Christmas Eve. And then those leftovers, that's what we use for Christmas Day. So we'll have Christmas Day is at my brother and sister-in-law's so that the kiddos can be home for Santa Claus, because of course that's very important. And yeah, that needs to happen, right? So so we do that. So then we'll pack up the leftovers from Christmas Eve. Oh, fudge. From Christmas Eve, all the leftovers will go, and that's what we will have for dinner on Christmas Day. So Christmas Day is pretty chill. We'll have a nice brunch usually after we've opened presents, etc. Christmas Day it starts fairly early. For those of you that know me, I'm not particularly a morning person. My husband laughs. He says, "Green, the only day that you are a morning person is Christmas Day." And truthfully, he's not necessarily wrong there. uh yeah, it's a day that I'll get up early for and make sure that I'm awake. Plus, I would hate to disappoint my niece and nephew. And it's hard for, it's hard for kids already waiting for Santa Claus, having to wait rather than having to wait for their aunt to get her butt out of bed and get over to their place because they're about 20-25 minutes away from us. My parents live in the same town there as well, so we all show up Christmas morning. Yeah, open presents and then just have we'll have a nice brunch. Um, Usually around 10 or 11 kind of thing. And then we just kind of chill and watch movies and read and, visit and whatever. Then we'll have dinner, just again, have leftovers, heat up the leftovers. And then we will usually from then, I mean, the kids start getting ready for bed about 7. So by that time, hubby and I will come home and we have had a very long day. It's we're pretty much on our own. So I don't know about you guys, but when you're not typically around a lot of people, like so Christmas Eve is very busy, like it's a lot of close quarters. We have a small home. It's a lovely home, but small. So when you've got two young people, it's sometimes can be a lot. So it's a hoot and a half, and also uh, you know, busy and a lot. So when they leave on Christmas Eve, it's like we all take a breath. Both my hubby and I, we take a breath. And I'll usually end up watching a movie or something on Christmas Eve, and I don't know, usually head to bed pretty well, not early, but earlier. I'm the night owl typically, and okay, I like that. So I want to stick this down because that's going to glow. That's going to go right there. But I want to be able to fit my picture in here. I should have left that up a little bit so that those would go unmarked. I wonder if I did. I did. Yay me. Some days, some of those days when you have your moment, kind of cool. Okay. So what I want to try and do is fit this into here like that. And that is going to, I'll slot the picture in there. So I'm going to glue this down so that it's in place, and then put foam tape here so that that stays. The picture can slide in. So let's adhere this. Yeah, then Boxing Day is typically pretty chill for Alan and I. We used to go out shopping or go to the movies. Don't really do that anymore, not much. Sometimes if we do, it's very, very quick. We've usually had enough. We don't necessarily need to be out in that anymore. So that's kind of nice. Um, yeah. Then I think this year on the 27th, I think I'm going to have some friends over to craft. So that'll be kind of nice. We'll be hanging out here in the basement for some. We're going to make the trip out to my place, so that maybe will be nice. I got to send out the invites, so I don't know for sure that people are going to show. Got to get on that too. So that's another one of the things that one of those things. Just got to get to it, Green. Got to get to it. Ooh. Okay, so that I'm gonna. Whoops. To stick some metal adhesive. So this one is having a hard time sticking because the adhesive, the liquid adhesive, is right on the plastic here, right? Which, oops, Jesus, that was hot glue almost sticking my finger there. So I need to make sure that because it's non-porous, right? So it doesn't always have really good adhesion to plastic. Yeah. And I can come in with this here and just touch the corners like so. So if you're concerned, if you are trying to glue things on top of plastic, sometimes you can use soup wang, like a really strong double-sided adhesive could work. Um, I don't always recommend getting out your glue gun. It'll work for this particular application because I'm using it for something else, right? So Now this area here, so this piece is adhered to this tooth, but that other photo, right? This other photo mat is coming in here. So I don't want to, I mean, I might stick that down. We'll see. But I want to get this other big piece laid out first before I get to that point. Okay, dokie. So now this is going to go in here. Keep having to zhuzh that around there a little bit. So, okay. Okay, so let's cut this. So how are you guys enjoying the videos so far, using the products of like that Matt has created, things like that? Do you have any questions? Are you surprised by some of the I don't know, like some of the outcomes? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I don't know. So yeah, we'll let a body know. Okay, so I want the straight up and down is going to go here. So. Mm, that, and then it's going to go. Now, didn't I want to do? So I think this one is going to go because this is so big. Oh, no, I think we were going to do something like that, right? This was going to go here. Yeah. So this one, I think, had to go down. And this one could go, and then this one. Right, kind of like that. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, happy with that. So that part needs to stick it down. This part needs to be up a little bit. So we can put this piece of foam tape right over. Like so. Okay, okay. Good. Okay, so let's put that down now. And oh, I got a good question. Does anybody know, are you getting any craft supplies for Christmas? No. Unfortunately, one of our local scrapbooking stores, small scrapbooking stores, she decided to close and had a really big closeout sale kind of thing. So I ended up getting a bit. Um, so I was there, and my family and I, we pulled this really good. Okay, so we'll get it and we'll put it away and pretend to be surprised or forget about it. And oddly enough, I can forget about things. It's so strange. Um, hubby had pulled out stuff because he was getting ready to wrap some of my gifts, and then he was like, "Oh, I forgot about this. I forgot about this." I was like, "I did too." I don't know how that happens. So, yeah, if you're looking for some crafting supplies, what is it that you asked for? Did you ask for something specific? I've had to get pretty specific because there's so many things that I have that, people in my family don't, they're not crafters like this. And, there's only so many things that I need versus, or that I'll use, or that I might already have or not, right? So, um, I wouldn't want them to, uh, end up having something and then being like, oh, that's not going to work, or that kind of thing. So it's kind of nice to be able to do that. Okay, that's a pretty decent adhesion there. So this guy, we're going to stick right there. I quite like that, actually. This one can go again. It's going to go right there, I think. This one, actually, we can go even further down, that one, like so. This one's going to come down now. Yeah, I like it. Okay. So let's stick this one down first. Okay. This is all. Okay. straight edge. I was gonna say it's Hallmark, not it's handmade, not Hallmark, but you know, we're not this is more of a scrapbooking project, not a card. But you get the gist, right? You're picking up what I'm laying down. Okay, so I like how that kind of pops on top of that. We can even move it in a bit, but I like the edge. Bring that down a little. Okay. So again, it's going to be sitting on top of the basically the melted plastic, right? The embossing powder or the embossing well, the shininess of the embossing. So we want to again make sure that the area that is going to be sticking down on that for sure has some uh hot glue in order to make sure not moving. Alrighty, so I want this to be rolled out. Want to catch the same edge there as that one. And roughly straight, roughly straight. Okie dokie. Let's see, what did I actually ask for some specific? I'm getting some re-inkers. Well, I think ideally I've asked for, I'm getting some re-inkers. I'm hoping to get the new on my list, actually. I'm hoping to get the new Lavinia Elements inks. They put out these beautiful new colors. I think there's 8 of them, 8 new colors. And fortunately enough, when they started creating those inks, I was uh, able to get the collection and get them all, but like 8 at a time, which helped, right? So when by the time I started doing Tim Holtz, like the Rangers, like the distress inks and stuff like that, you know, it was, oh, I forgot to put, oh, it should be fine. It was years already that he had been like Ranger inks, distress inks, even the oxides had been out. So it, you know, it's really hard when it's 54 or I don't know, 60, 70 color. How many colors are there? Plus in 2 different lines, plus all of the extras like the spritzes and the distress sprays and the. So it makes it really difficult to you know, collect a set kind of thing. You don't have to do a whole set, but sometimes you want colors that go together and you know, that you know can blend well, have a similar formulation. Doesn't have to be same formulation, but you know, essentially has that so that it, you know, can work together kind of thing. And so that's, you know, it was nice that I was able to do that with the oh pooper duper. Are you kidding me? So it wasn't so much my foam tape. I've got a bit of, oh, that's peeling my nail. I've got a bit of hot glue behind this piece here, which is not going to work for me. It's stopping where my photo's got to go. But there you go. Da da da. Okay. So, and then what I'll do is I'll put my photo in here. And then once my photo is actually on, I can get into there. I can adhere this to the photo. So, for example, so this is what she's going to look like. This is going to go in there. I might have to squidgy that in a bit, which is fine. This is not the one that's going in there. And then this one is going to go here. And then we have 2 of these. So we're going to have like 1 and 1. Ah, that looks so cool. Now, I do have a couple of pieces left over here for ephemera. So for example, this piece goes here, which I could pop. Sorry, that is not what I meant to say, which I could pop up. I could also add, because some of these pieces go underneath here, right? I think this guy is one of the teeth off of here. So that, you know, that looks kind of cool. Just add that down on top. This is, I'm pretty sure that guy there. Something to that extent. I've got a few more here that I can also add on should I want to. But where I want to finish here is I want to make sure that I get my sentiment on first, right? So I'm going to pull off the photos and fortunately enough for you guys aren't going to have to watch me do this. Well, I mean, I'm going to do this part, but you don't have to watch me doing the gluing and the die cutting and the blah, blah, blah. I just basically pulled out some word sentiments. I just pulled out some alphabet sentiments and just, or sorry, alphabet dies. That's the word I'm looking for. And I cut them out of the same color cardstock. This, let me see here. So when this goes up here, this, this, and this is, oops, nope, there. And this is us. Now, the other thing, what would be really cool is I could do that on here. This, you can do it. This, this is this is, let me think, this is this. What do we think? That's cool, hey? I don't mind that. That's kind of neat. Now what happens if we do it straight? Make it straight? I don't know. This is where we did her. This is where we did her. This is, and I use this sentiment, or this statement basically, because the photos that I got are I think they've been together 10 years now. So it's photos from when they started to fairly recently, like probably a year ago. Oh yeah, that actually looks really quite nice on there. And I like that it stands out because of the darkness of the background. I think that can really work. Excellent. So I am going to stick that down. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to commit to it. Yeah, so again, I think I said that they've just bought a new home. They've, they've been living obviously in a home together for quite some time, but this is the first home that they've purchased together. Um, and it's pretty exciting. They're both pretty happy about it, but it's a new kind of adventure. And yeah, so this is kind of a combo Christmas present, happy housewarming kind of thing. That's what it's meant to be anyways. So I'm going to hope that this is strong enough to hold on here. I think once I get it in place, I'm also going to put like a stamp block on it so that it can really adhere to the to the underneath. Don't think I'm going to do any kind of photo captions or anything like that. I'm not going to do any journaling on here because I don't know. It's their journey. I don't know where the photos were taken or any of that kind of stuff. I just basically creeped the photos off of Facebook. Another good reason why, some days Facebook isn't a bad thing. It helps you do, well, I mean, technically this is stalking. So, I was going to say helps you do a nice thing, but also kind of creepy. But, I'm doing it with the best intentions because I'm hopefully making a gift that they will like and that will be memorable and different for their home. All right. So while this is sitting here, I'm going to stick that on like so, because I want some pressure to help that glue adhere. So what's nice though is I will have some space where I can come in and add a few more then because I'm not using this area or the other area for ephemera. I can just do this. Okay, so let's do this. I think that's it here. Yes. Great as possible. Ish. Oh, totally brain fart there. Got focused on sticking these things down and then forgot my train of thought. Yeah, so I don't as I was saying, this is basically where I got the photos from was from Facebook. So yes, I did stalk them. Um, but some days it does help to do something nice. I did the same thing with my mom. My mom spent 5 years in Bali, and I made an album, a Bali album for her when she had gotten back that had friends and people that she had met there, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, it turned out really lovely. But I needed to kind of, go through the people that she had met and the photos that she had on her thing. Now it's my mom. Does she care that I was stalking her? No, she really does not. But still could have, I suppose. And all the other people that were there with her, I guess, they could have been offended, I suppose. Like, I don't know that any of them know that I made a scrapbook with it. Might have a photo or two of them in it. Well, so I'm just about done the project here. So I'll call it complete here as soon as I stick this down. So I hope that you have enjoyed. I know it's been a long video, but I hope that it was helpful to kind of show you how, number one, you can make your own ephemera. If you are, like me, and you didn't think to pick up the ephemera that goes with the packages that you're looking at or that you're looking to purchase, or the what's the words that I'm looking for? The I don't know why I can't think of that. The other stuff that goes along with your photo layouts and etc. If you didn't pick up something, you can create your own. Even you could even cut out your own photos, right? Like a family photo and or even well, yeah, that basically I did cut out scrapbook paper, right? And made just added extra thickness and popping it up, gluing it onto cardstock even to give it a little bit more dimension. So yeah, that's what I've done here and that's what I'll do here. So I'm not going to add any shininess or anything to this, but I can just pop this up or put this on and it'll have some nice dimension, etc. So those kind of things hopefully should help. If you please remember to like and comment and subscribe. Please keep your comments kind. But if you have any questions or um, anything else that you suggestions that you think would have worked really well with this, that would be pretty cool. I'd love to hear that. Yeah, I will also be in the description down below. I'll be linking the um, designs from Mr. Matt Mixed Media. This is, I believe, called the Teal Gears. Um, and there's quite a nice set of it. Actually, it's really pretty. It all goes together. It's great masculine paper. If you want to make masculine cards, you can cut it down into 6x6 and do cards or whatever size you want to do. Makes great masculine cards, obviously. Um, but yeah, so I'll put the link in the description for that. And I will also be putting the link for my buy me a coffee down in the description there. If you are enjoying my videos, because they are obviously class length, but if you are enjoying my videos and you find some value and would like to help me out with that, or put something towards a cause here for doing more classes and whatnot, by all means, it will be down below. You're welcome to yeah, you're welcome to help to make a donation, but you don't need to either or. Um, yeah, I hope that everybody has a great holiday season. I hope you enjoyed the class, and we will talk in the next video. But basically, that's it. If you have any questions, here's how the first one turned out. Here's how the second one turned out. So obviously, yeah, if this was a scrapbook, you would obviously put these in your protecting pages now, put your photos on, put it in your protective pages, call it good, right? Then move on to the next layout. But there's a two 12 by 12 layout for you, double side. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.